Okay, so for so many families in India, there's this one massive question that hangs over the last few years of school. Should we go with CBSE or IB? It's a choice that feels like it could make or break that big dream of studying abroad. Well, today, we're going to cut right through all the noise and get to the real verdict. This right here, this is the question that keeps people up at night, isn't it? The fear that if you pick the wrong board, you're basically slamming the door shut on a top global university. But what if I told you that's actually the wrong question to be asking? Let's break down why. Pay close attention to this, because it's probably the most important thing you'll hear. Admissions experts are telling us loud and clear that universities aren't obsessed with the name of the board. They're looking at the student. They want to see that you're ready, that you've got the skills. The board is just the car. You're the one who has to drive it. So all of that sounds good in theory, but how does it actually play out in the real world? Well, let's look at a story of two friends, one dream university and two totally different ways of getting there. Okay, so meet Raghav, who went through the whole CBSE system, and his friend Arav, who did the IB diploma. They're both from Mangalore, they grew up together, and they were both aiming for the exact same top-tier Canadian university. And here's the kicker, they both got in. So how? This slide really breaks down their two different game plans. Raghav's application was all about pure academic muscle. We're talking high marks, super strong math scores, and transcripts that were easy for the university to understand. Arav, on the other hand, he told his story with a really strong portfolio, that in-depth extended essay, and all his project work. So you have two completely different applications leading to the exact same acceptance letter. The lesson? Both paths can absolutely get you where you want to go. All right, let's dig into that first path, the one Raghava took. What do international universities actually see when a CBSE transcript lands on their desk? And more importantly, how can students really play that to their advantage? This quote just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the whole CBSE situation. The curriculum itself builds this incredibly powerful academic foundation. The challenge, though, is that the student has to do a little extra legwork to show it all off in a way that global universities can easily see and understand. So what are these strengths we're talking about? Well, for one, CBSE has this rock-solid reputation in math and science. We're talking deep fundamentals that universities absolutely love. Second, the grades are predictable. The patterns are clear, making it easy to evaluate. All of this adds up to a background that universities from the UK to Canada to Australia know and trust. So let's be clear, CBSE is not a barrier at all. Okay, so if the academics are so strong, what's the catch? It all comes down to the documentation, the portfolio. See, unlike IB, the CBSE system doesn't really have a built-in way to showcase all the amazing projects, the research, or the creative work a student does. And that means a totally brilliant student could end up looking a little one-dimensional on paper if they're not careful. But here's the really good news. This is 100% fixable. A CBSE student just needs to become the storyteller of their own journey. You've got to document everything, from the science fair project to the debate club win. You've got to practice writing those critical thinking essays. Then you put it all together in a nice digital portfolio. That's it. That's how you bridge that gap. And that brings us to this really simple but powerful equation. You take the academic rigor that CBSE provides, and you combine it with a well-thought-out portfolio. That combination right there makes for a seriously competitive international applicant. Okay, so that's the CBSE story. Now let's flip the coin and take a look at the IB pathway. What is it about the International Baccalaureate that makes it so well known and respected by universities literally all over the globe? This is such a critical insight. The main reason IB has an edge isn't because it's somehow better than other boards. It's because it's familiar. Think about it. Admissions officers in over 150 countries see IB transcripts day in and day out. They speak the language of IB, and that automatically gives its students a head start. And that familiarity is huge because the IB program basically prepackages all the evidence a university wants to see. The extended essay, boom, research skills, check. The whole CAS component, that's creativity, activity, and service, it documents that a student is well-rounded. And that 1 to 7 grade scale, it's like a universal language for admissions folks. The whole system is designed to show what a student can do, not just tell. Of course, no system is perfect.
The IB's big focus on depth can sometimes be a challenge if a student is also trying to prep for those hyper-competitive Indian entrance exams, like the JEE for engineering. Those tests often require just a massive amount of content, so it's a bit of a trade-off. Do you optimize for global readiness or for local test prep?
So, we've seen that both boards can be a great launchpad for success. It's really not about one being better than the other, but about understanding the path you're on and making it work for you. So let's boil all this down into a practical checklist you can actually use. This is your action plan. Seriously, it doesn't matter what board you're in, these are the 6 questions every family needs to think about. Are you aiming for India, abroad, or maybe both? Does your child shine with amazing grades, or are they more of a project-based learner? This checklist puts the focus back where it belongs, on the student, not the board. So really, it all comes down to 2 different philosophies. With CBSE, the idea is to start with that foundation of academic strength and then build the portfolio on top of it. With IB, you start with a holistic profile and then make sure the academics are consistently strong to back it up. One builds from fundamentals, the other builds from inquiry. And as we've clearly seen, both approaches work. So in the end, this whole big debate, CBSE versus IB, it kind of misses the point. It was never really about the board. It's about how you use whatever curriculum you have to build a powerful story about yourself. It's about proving that you're ready for whatever comes next. So the real question isn't which board is better. The real question is, what story is your application going to tell?